Well, hello, beautifuls, and welcome to another episode of The Gifted Table. I'm your host, Dr. Melanie Harris, and thank you for pulling up a seat and taking your place right here at The Gifted Table. Today, we're going to be talking about, hey, boss lady, how to avoid the imposter syndrome. And my girl right here is truly not an imposter, but we're going to talk about this imposter syndrome. So please welcome to The Gifted Table, the one and only Tiffany Eggleston. Hello, beautiful.
Hello.
I know you about to just give it to me right now, and we're going to put your gifts on the table. You ready?
I am so ready.
So I have you on here with this Hey Boss Lady because you are starting to do some amazing things. You have your company that's launching, or by this time this is aired, it has launched.
Yes.
It is growing and doing great things. But sometimes when we start this new stuff, you know, you and I, we've been partners in crime. We can feel like some imposters,
Yes.
though we know we're the boss of our business.
Absolutely.
Tell me,
Absolutely.
how do you define boss lady? Let's start there.
Oh, man. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with the term. I must admit, I believe and embrace being a woman who is empowered and who is a boss. But I guess sometimes I think like, well, it suggests that in order to be considered a boss lady, you have to have certain things in place. And I don't necessarily feel like that. I feel like you can be a boss lady if you work for someone else. You don't have to own a business. You can be a boss lady if you are a woman who just handles her business in her household. So,
That's right.
you know, like I said, but I'm kind of getting past that. So as far as myself and how I see myself as a boss lady, I think that because I am very diligent on pursuing goals and things that I want in life, and I have come to recognize that even if those things don't happen and come to fruition in the time in which I would like them to be patient, to stay the course, and be faithful.
And I know you will. But this here imposter syndrome is so real.
Yes, it is.
And I was looking at some stats, and about 70% of people, when they're starting something new, a business, a new position, or what have you, they feel like an imposter going in. And if you guys aren't familiar with an imposter syndrome is, it's when you question your own skills, your capabilities, your technical skills, your know-how. And even if you're prepared enough, if you are the right person, are you going in with how to meet the needs of the organization at that time? Some people that's felt like an imposter.
Yeah.
Serena Williams. Could you believe
Imagine
that?
that.
Imagine that. Maya Angelou.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Sheryl Sandberg, the former CEO, imposter syndrome. So there are key leaders out there who have it. First, tell us about what is your business? What are you starting? What are you launching? What have you launched? What are you doing?
So
How are you the boss?
I am the boss because I am launching the scholarship code.
Okay.
For years now, I have felt this thing inside of me. A huge part of my professional career is in financial aid and in student loan industry. I work for two of the largest student loan lenders in the industry, and it was just on me. But I knew that I didn't want to return back to financial aid, but I didn't know exactly how I wanted to do that. So during COVID, during the shutdown, you know, when everyone was at home and God was dealing with me and put it on my heart and said, you need to move.
Okay,
And
pivot.
my question was, well, how am I going to do this? And as you said, imposter syndrome started taking effect. It's funny because I was actually watching someone on Instagram, and that was the first time that I heard that term, imposter syndrome. And he was a business owner, and he was talking about how he doubted himself continuously, but through his doubt, he still moved forward.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times we think that imposter syndrome will just have you stuck and make you stay in place, which it does. But you will always have the possibility of feeling like, do I know enough? Am I good enough? Will people respect what I'm talking about? Will people receive what I'm talking about? Will they question me?
Right.
So all of those elements are part of imposter syndrome. So I'm trying, just like everyone else, there are times that I feel like it. I felt like it last night.
Oh.
And yesterday, as the business is approaching for the launch, which is tomorrow, things that weren't necessarily done in the time frame in which I wanted, and I started to question, why am I doing this? Should I be doing this? Is anybody going to care? And then I took a moment and I said, you can do this. You can do it.
Yes.
There's something that my dad taught me when I was young, and it always stuck with me. And he just said, if other people can do something, why can't you? And so anytime I question something, I always go back to that. It doesn't always make me feel better in the moment, but eventually it does. And that's just something that I just kind of live by. If other people can do it, why can't I?
So you talked about your background in financial services, and the scholarship code is tied to that. Quick synopsis. What is it that you're doing with the scholarship code?
So the scholarship code is, the foundation of it is that I am motivating students to apply for free money that's out there.
There's some free money out there?
There's free money out there. There's actually $100 million that has gone untapped.
Wow.
That's left on the table.
Wow.
So the scholarship code motivates students to apply for free money. Something else that I wanted to do to incorporate, to make it a unique entity and something that I was interested in. And I was really inspired by my nephews, actually. My two nephews who are both college educated, but they are budding entrepreneurs. I have some friends who have children that are young adults that are also doing the same thing. And something that I've come to recognize is that the path in which I took and my peers was that you go to college, you graduate, you get a good job, you work at that job until you retire, and then, you take care of your money and retire and you'll be fine. But these young people are thinking about college and attending college, but they're also thinking about other passions that they have. Right. And they're pursuing them. So there isn't just one path to success. They are college students. They are applying for internships, which is another aspect of the company. We want to align ourselves and collaborate with organizations. We want to be a funnel to internships and also entrepreneurship for young adults.
Yeah, these new young people, I mean, we're still young, but this other generation, they have they're multi-talented in many ways, and they don't want to be stuck in one thing. They want options.
They want options.
Because my attention span is sometimes just too short to focus on one thing. Okay. And I don't think they realize that even with that, they might still have that imposter syndrome.
Definitely.
Because you gotta pick that pathway. You gotta figure out what you're going to do. And am I really skilled at that?
Well, I think part of it, at least from my experience, has been you think about what other people will think about you. Will other people question your knowledge or your expertise? And you have to be prepared for that, right? You're not always going to have people that are in love with you or what you're doing, and so they might challenge you. And even if it's not malicious, they still might challenge you. And as long as you're prepared, you got it.
Shake that imposter off.
Shake it off.
So what has been like one of your most proud accomplishments that you've had thus far?
I would have to say, for sure, personally, would be my child.
Yes.
My son. And not just because that's the answer that you should say as a parent, but I had him later in life. He's just a joy because I get to see life through his innocent eyes at this point. I get to experience the unconditional love that my parents have for me and my sister. So that's my biggest personal accomplishment, and just kind of teaching him and introducing him to life experiences. Professionally, that's a hard question because if I had to give the first thing that came to mind, it actually would be my education.
Awesome.
When I decided that I was going to pursue an MBA, it was a huge challenge and out of my comfort zone.
Did you feel like an imposter during your studies?
I felt more so like an imposter when I applied. And then when I got accepted, I was a little surprised.
Wow.
Totally out of my wheelhouse. My undergraduate degree is in communications with an emphasis in public relations. With the MBA program, I had to take statistics and finance and accounting. All of those subjects were challenges for me, as far as I had to really buckle down and focus. So when I graduated, I felt like this was such a huge accomplishment because I did it. I stuck with it and I was committed, and it wasn't easy, but I did it. So I just look back on that, and that's just something that I'm very proud of, and proud of myself for finishing.
And even with that, even with our learning, I've had the same experience. You have a goal you want to accomplish. You're like, okay, I'm going to apply for it. It's like, oh, they took me. Oh, there's an orientation. Will I make it through this? Will I finish this? Am I kidding myself? Right? So it's like different stages of our life, not even just in our businesses, professionally, we can feel like an imposter. What has been some experiences that has challenged you the most as a leader, as a woman?
I can think of a position that I had with a certain bottling company. There weren't many minorities there. There were some women there, but they were of a different hue. Let's just say that. I had a position where I was a director of sales and marketing, and I felt very strong in that role. I felt respected. I felt knowledgeable. When I transitioned to this position, all of that was stripped away. And I didn't feel like I was heard, that they cared to listen to anything that I said, or was respected. And it was just a miserable feeling. And so I did start to question and start to doubt. But then I looked back and I said, look at the things that you've accomplished.
There you go.
And although they don't appreciate you, you have a choice. You don't have to stay here.
You do not.
And I didn't.
And isn't it amazing?
And I took my talents elsewhere.
How
like
about
LeBron James.
How about And isn't it amazing how we can have the self-imposter, but then people can make us feel when we know we have the skill set, when we know we have the talent, that they can bring on that self-doubt. But look at you. Perseverance, purpose, passion, and pushed up out of there.
We all have days where we'd rather do something else, right? But it was to the point where even on Friday when I was leaving there, I was already thinking about coming back on Monday.
Wow.
So my quality of life was not where I wanted it to be because I was so unhappy and they didn't respect work-life balance. So that was a whole nother element.
So that was something that challenged you. Now, let's kind of flip it. What's been the experience you've had that's stretched you professionally in that way to grow?
Hands down would be when I became an adjunct professor.
Okay.
That challenged me because I also experienced imposter syndrome. I'd never taught as far as formally within a classroom. You know, you get some training, but you're like, these students are going to know, I don't know what I'm doing. They're not going to listen to me. You know, just like anything else when it was brand new and you have to get your bearings and you kind of develop a style. But the reason why I would say that stretched me the most is because I had worked since graduating from college. So that was familiar to me. But being a leader, and especially in the environment of young people who have the attention span of a gnat, and just keeping them engaged and saying, okay, and I had a chin check moment. I'm not going to say everything was rosy. I got one of my reviews and I was like,
I am an imposter.
I didn't take it personally. I mean, I knew that my dean was going to see it, so I was a little like, you know, nervous about that. But I took that information and I made some adjustments. And so it definitely humbled me in some ways. And then it stretched me as a leader because I said, how can I take this information and learn and grow and shift? And I saw a change the next time I taught the class.
It became an opportunity.
It was an opportunity.
It became an opportunity. But do you think other people may perceive you as an imposter, either now as you're getting into your business or some things in the past?
I think that's always going to happen. I do. I think that especially if you are in a position where others feel that they can somewhat judge you, right? Whether you're speaking to an audience and they are questioning the information that you're sharing, or you're in a meeting with your peers and either they legitimately feel like you may not know what you're talking about, or they just want to present it as such. And that's actually happened to me a couple times in my career. But what that has taught me is that you have to stand in your own belief and confidence of yourself, right? Because people will attempt to tear you down for different reasons. And most of the time it has to do with them and not you.
That is the truth.
But listen, I know whose daughter I am. You know, my physical father and my father in heaven. So, you know, I know who I am, and I may not know everything, but I know what I bring to the table.
Well, listen, you've already brought a lot to this table. And I know y'all pushing up close right now, too, to just grab all the things that you're feasting on with her. What are some outcomes you have for yourself right now?
What's important to me is that I fulfill my purpose. I've had many professional goals or jobs that I felt like I wanted, or money that I wanted to earn. And this has been very purposeful. It has taken time. I've been very thoughtful. I've been very prayerful. And so for my personal goals, for what I want in my life moving forward, is that I wanted to fulfill my purpose.
Yes.
I had a career this was a huge part of it. And then I was away from it, but I was drawn to it, not just to make money or because it was familiar to me, but because I wanted to assist students. I wanted to assist families. I wanted to bring forth the information and knowledge that I have and use that where it's beneficial for those that need it the most.
Well, listen, I didn't have that information when I was applying to college. So I wish there was a you who had the scholarship code then, who could tell me about how to research, identify free money that's available based on different things that connect to you.
Right.
So you're doing an amazing thing. You're bringing value to so many people. And I can't wait to see the explosion. And because it's your passion, it's not going to even seem like you're working.
Right.
Because you're moving in your purpose.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about looking back. So looking back, what would you tell yourself now as you're moving into this position of entrepreneurship and, yes, being your own boss?
I would think the common thread in all of that is to prepare.
Okay.
And when I say prepare, when I look over my life, whether it was my younger self or, like you said, myself of last year or even yesterday, prepare for the unexpected. Some people may think, well, I don't want to prepare for everything. I want to kind of see how things go. And I think there are elements in life that you should. But I made some grave mistakes early on where I wasn't expecting life to happen. I expected life to coast as it had been for me. And had I made certain preparations, then I think things would have been a little easier. But at the same time, I'm fully aware as an adult woman at my big age now that those
fully grown
lessons and things that have happened have brought me to where I am now. So moving forward, I will take all of that knowledge, but then I'm very mindful of certain moves that I want to make, certain people that I want to align myself with. I'm so happy for people in my circle and those that I know who are pursuing their goals and not letting age or life's issues affect their desire to move forward.
I love it. Looking ahead, business booming. That's what I'm saying. Blessed beyond measure. What is it that you want and what is it that you need?
What I want is success.
Talk about it.
I want success. I want success for me. I want success for my son, because it's funny because we were talking and I said, mommy's business. And then it clicked and I said, you're doing this for him as well. This is going to be a part of your legacy.
Yes.
So I now say our business.
There you
It's
go.
our business.
There you go.
So what I want is success for myself, for him, for families that I touch.
Okay.
What I need is peace and a love, which I have, passion for what I'm doing. Because if I didn't feel passionate about it, I wouldn't do it.
Why do it? And you shall have it, because you already have it. The things that is truly my vision in this is working with, talking with, spotlighting beautiful women like you, these queens on the move who have passion, purpose, perseverance, and are positioning themselves for the greater good. So thank you so much for being here on The Gifted Table. It has been my blessing to have you here. And guys, don't forget, Scholarship Code. Where can they find you?
They can find me on all social media platforms at thescholarshipcode.com, and also our website, www.thescholarshipcode.com.
Get it. Teenagers moving ahead, need something. Hey, even if later in life maybe you're applying. Not just teenagers.
Not just teenagers, not just young adults. No. Students of all ages can receive scholarships.
So you too can pursue what you have been holding back on because you felt like an imposter. Well, that is our episode today of The Gifted Table. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to like this, subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and share it. And leave some comments about some topics that you would like to see here on The Gifted Table. And then don't forget, you have the opportunity to get a 30-minute coaching session with me. So go to thegiftedtable.com. Until next time, remember, stay grounded, innovative, fierce, transparent every day. In other words, stay gifted. See you next time.